he did with GE. The next thing we'll talk about here is people management systems. And at the CEO forum, there were about 6 or 7 CEOs that spoke. And everybody that spoke talked about companies with people are the companies, with the right people that are going to win. Like I said, teams that field the right players and the best players are going to win. So, you know, some of the concepts that I talked about is we're in the people management business. You know, I think the guy from Emoto said, culture eats strategy for lunch. It's an interesting concept, but it's true. So, do you have the type of people management systems in your organization that allows you to hire the best people? Let's talk about recruiting. And I do a whole workshop on recruiting. You know, we talk about matching people's natural behavioral tendencies to the behavioral tendencies of the job, right? So if I will hire somebody that needs to be highly social because I want to do business development, I want to make sure that they are. So, you know, we use behavioral tools to assess that. You know, there's the ABA, there's a DISC, there's Myers-Briggs, there's all kinds of different tools out there. Are you using those? Well, you should. If you want somebody, you want an engineer to sit behind a desk all day long, you know, doing problem solving and focus on, you know, high detail, precise work, following the rules, then you certainly don't want somebody who's going to be talking to their next door neighbor all day long because he needs to be selling. So you match people's behavior to the jobs. So here's the deal that in my experience, is that most people, typically, their behavior will sort of channel themselves towards the right jobs, right? So if I'm sort of an introvert and I like detail, I become an engineer. And they will go into an engineering profession. But here's where we fail. And this is why this tool is really important. We take that engineer and we take him out of that really high-performing, unconscious competence level, and we promote them. Now they're managers. So we promote them from doing the highly technical, precise work that they want to do, to now they have to manage people, do client maintenance, go do business development, meet deadlines, and keep staying in the budget. That's a whole set of behavior and skills that's completely different. But we do it all the time, especially in the engineering world, especially in the services world. You know, and I've done it many times. I did it several times actually. And then I had to go back and not so much demote them, but you know, move them laterally. You know, it's the whole thing. Man, I don't know what happened to Joe. Man, he was such a great guy doing engineering, and now he can't even manage himself out of a wet paper bag. Well, guess what? He didn't have the skills to do that. So we need to be very careful when doing recruiting. So internal recruiting, when you're doing this sort of shifting of people in an organization, you should take them through the whole recruiting process again. You know, the whole concept of training, you know, everybody should know in your organization, and if you work for a company, if you don't have it, you should ask for it. So I want to know what my training plan is for this year. Is that too much to ask? Well, your training plan, I think you need 15 PDH hours, which is the reason why most of you guys are here. Just figure it out. No, I want to know. I mean, you know, I want to have some leadership training. I want to have some soft skills training. I want to have some, you know, Revit training. I want to have some, you know, that needs to be planned. I said earlier in this conversation that, frankly, people leave companies not because of compensation, but often because they don't know where to go. So you need to do that. Motivation and team building, they kind of go hand in hand. And again, I mentioned the book Drive, and understanding, you know, what motivates people. And not everybody really is motivated by the same thing. So be able to understand, you know, and the DISC, that assessment also has a motivators sort of portion of the assessment. You know, some people are motivated by, you know, what they call utilitarian, which is a return on investment. They want to know that if they put the time, they're going to get something out of it. Some people are motivated by the whole concept of, you know, they're theoretical. They want to learn, you know, for the pure one of knowledge. There's people that are motivated by social causes. There are people that are motivated by aesthetics. You know, and when I say aesthetics, you know, when I was first looking at this, you know, aesthetics, it's not just beauty. Aesthetics is form and function. I can tell you that if Steve Jobs did that assessment, I bet he probably was motivated by aesthetics. Because his whole thing is, how does the perfection of the product, how does that fit in your hand? How does it move from one, you know, if you click here, what happens? And he had to look good. He talks about the Mac computers. He wanted the inside of those computers, inside the box, to look just as good as the outside. He said form and function. So people are motivated by different things. And it's pretty good to find out, you know, what motivates people. And then the whole concept of team building. And team building has, you know, do a whole workshop on team building, you know, and you know, how teams are formed, and there's a process how teams are formed. You know, you come form, storm, norm, perform. You know, when people come together, there's a storming that takes place when they get to know each other, and things normalize, and they start performing. Understanding that is important, because, you know, there's no teams, you know, especially start to create a team of people, say for a new job, and they're all not going to gel the first day they meet.